Hi, this is Alice Wheaton. Thank you for joining me today in this video series. And I believe it's apt that we begin the series with talking about fear. Because in all of my years of working with salespeople, and entrepreneurs who want to increase their business, what I find is that it's not necessarily the skills or their knowledge that they're lacking. It's the fact that they feel that they are consumed by fear. Just last week, I spent some time at the head office there in Saskatoon working with the LBPs, and I actually made quite a few prospecting calls. Some of them were bare naked cold calls where there were no association, no referrals, and they hadn't gone to an information meeting. Some were just and names that were just pulled from just knowledge of the farming areas. And so those are what I call really cold calls. And interestingly, out of those cold calls, we've got clients agreed to have somebody else, have an agronomist, a specialist in the area to come in and visit with them. In addition, I up-leveled myself and my performance halfway through by then asking for referrals. And sometimes I got some referrals, but sometimes I didn't. But I do believe that before the session was ended, I had 8 referrals. Isn't that fantastic? And I'm not an expert. I was taking imperfect action. So let me take you through this process right now, and you become clear why everything you want, including a very busy and prosperous business, is on the other side of fear. So first there's fear, and we have fear because at the back of our brain is a little gland the size of an almond that's called the amygdala. If you want to Google it, it's Amygdala. So the sole purpose of that amygdala is to cause us to feel fear. Back in primitive times, it kept us surviving. In fact, you could say that we're here today because our ancestors had more than their fair share of fear. And because of the fear, they kept themselves safe, and they were afraid of starving to death. So they had a large store of grains and product for survival during the winter, and so on. And so first we feel fear, and the fear is activated. That amygdala is activated whenever we think of doing something that is going to cause us to feel uncomfortable. Count on it. Anything that might make you feel uncomfortable is going to cause fear. Think about when you were a teenager and you needed to get your license. Now, there was a great deal of fear of writing the exam, and there was a great deal of fear of going out on the call with the AMA expert, driving expert, or whoever you used. But someone had to give you that exam. But the opposite end of that was that you've got to have more freedom, depend on your parents less, and depend on your friends less. So getting your driver's license was on the other side of fear. Now, you may have been driving a tractor since you were 10 or 9 or even younger, but still you had to get there on the road and drive your car and be tested. So the fear was overriding your best thinking that day, and you still felt nervous and exhausted, chances are, even though you'd been driving on the farm for years. That's possible. So first we feel fear, and fear is a natural response to anything that's going to change or if there's any perceived risk. But we need to tap into passion. Passion is a 2,000-year-old word coming from the Passion of the Christ. It's a Latin word, and it means the willingness to suffer and die for your cause. And no one is going to ask you to suffer and die for your cause. So we tap into our courage. Courage is not something that's floating around in our bloodstream. Courage is a decision we make on a moment-to-moment basis. Courage is a decision. Yes, I have this name. Yes, I will make that call. And I'm willing to do it imperfectly. As I said before, my first time I made prospecting calls for the LBPs, I was not very good at knowing and understanding the technology. And when I apologized to the team, they all said, you know what? We still are learning, so don't worry about it. just keep getting us appointments. And so I took imperfect action, and I estimate I made approximately 20 calls. So I took imperfect action. Well, I made about 60 calls, but a lot of them there were no answers. But I talked to a lot of people as a result of that. And I got better. I got better as the time went by. Then I became more competent. Was I 5-star? No, but I was better than when I first started out. So I became more competent. And so this is a state that most people want to be in. They want to be confident. But I doubt that I will be 100% confident in making prospecting calls. But by gosh, my goal is to make prospecting calls for every single team at Western Ag. Every single team. And so you sit there, I'll make the calls, we'll make the calls together, we'll learn together. And then what happens is that you will have so much more freedom that you won't ever have to be stuck in a comfort zone. And I say stuck because nobody wants to be in the comfort zone. It's not a great place to be. And so when we get into comfort zone, we say, okay, we see other LBPs, we see other packs, gaining in their acreage year after year after year. And we think, oh my gosh, what is it about me? I have the same knowledge, I have the same skills, but I don't have the same attitude. And the attitude is I'm willing to work with fear. I'm willing to feel the fear, doubt, and insecurity, that trepidation, and then move forward anyway. Is it simple? No, it's not simple, but it is easy. And so and the reason why I say it's simple, it's that, you pick up the phone, you dial a number, you speak the language, you ask the questions. It's a simple part, but it's not easy because we always have to challenge that part of our biology that asks us to stop. And that biology can be so strong that it stops us from seeing the future and what the future can hold for us. So I would like you to entertain this notion that fear is just another 4-letter F word, and what it stands for is face everything and recover. So if you face all the client's objections, and you'll get better and you'll improve, and so the fear will diminish, but it will always be active to a certain bit. That tiny bit of fear that stays around prospecting and cold calling is a tiny bit that you will need to keep you on your edge and learning. I promise this works, and the LBPs that saw it saw that it works. So my invitation to you is to start now and be willing to challenge your fear just 1%. Just 1%. Thanks for being with me today, and I so look forward to being with you all through the year. Bye for now.